not sure why I can't. What is going on here? Okay, good God. I look janky. Sorry, I had to restart the live. I already had to restart it because something weird was happening with the chat. And I can't. Why is my shit doing this? Am I just old? Hey, how are you? I just got back from dropping the kitties off at school, and I had to take care of a couple of things, and I made my matcha. I am good. I am good. I am good. I am coming on early, so we probably won't have very many people join, but that's okay because this is coffee and tarot. So grab whatever cup you want. This is a settle in kind of a reading. Let's just see if there's something in the message for you today. I have my matcha because I already had my coffee. I've been needing my coffee as soon as I wake up in the mornings to get me going, and somehow I don't understand. I'm still not firing. All the pistons in the engine ain't firing. I don't know what's going on. I've been doing some really God, just some things here lately have been ridiculous with my absent. I was putting on. I was changing my shirt because I got something on it. Not that I'm all fruit up or anything else like that, because this is not what I'm wearing today. But I go to put my sweater on without putting a new shirt on. Like the shirt was still sitting on the bed, kind of thing. Like that kind of stuff. So this is going to be fun. Let's see if I can. Yeah. Yesterday was a shit show with my words. But anywho. So the only thing I got before coming on, I was, I just out of nowhere, loud and clear, peaceful resolution. I was like, okay. So I go to grab my piece of paper because sometimes, things come through. I'm going to write it down. And and they're like, put it on the title. I was like, okay. So I did. Peaceful resolution. That's the only thing that they gave me before hopping on. I think somebody's worried and concerned that the only way for something to change is for there to be some kind of dramatic, unpleasant tower moment. And they're like, it's just going to be a peaceful resolution. So on that, we're going to use new era elements. Today's just a general read, sweetie. Today is not the personal reads and stuff. So I just come on here now and do these. Try to do it daily. It's not daily, but as much as I can. I heard you just know. You just know. Okay, so we have the High Priestess. Then we have Exploration in this deck. That's the Three of Wands. And then we have Comfort, which is the Four of Cups. This is like a knowing. Like there's just a sense of understanding that something is going to. It's the way that it feels is your brain, your ego, your human wants to sit there and have a lot of chatter about something and feels like you should be being dramatic about something or exceptionally worried. But then there's just also this sense of blasé or calmness that you have about a situation or going forward. And your human may not like that, but you can't help but look at it and go, okay. And I think that's because deep underneath with the High Priestess, like there's this knowing, and you're just like, all I have is to go on my inner guidance. your human can't seem to make sense of much of anything and can't seem to pick up on, like, it is not tuned in with the circumstance or situation. It is kind of wanting to dramatize shit. But yet inside you just have this feeling, and your human is questioning that. That's what's happening. So there's this sense of settling in. They're drawing me to the picture of the traditional Rider-Waite, where someone is looking at the three cups, and that's your human looking at these things going, none of this shit is going to resolve this X, Y, and Z, right? None of these things are going to be the answer to something. And, usually there's a cup that comes out of the sky. And even though the figure in it may be slumped down, they're not like massively panicked. They're just looking at it going, okay, it's none of this. This isn't the answer. I don't know what the answer is, but it's not this. But there's this knowing that something is going to come in, if that makes sense. It's funny because every time I say there's a knowing, I hear chatter. I hear some kind of mental chatter and be like, no, I don't. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I think there's an aspect of you that just like, what the actual? But you literally don't have any other avenue but to trust that something's going to come in. It's almost like, the everything always works in my favor. The universe is always assisting me. The universe has my back. Like this is like, I'm hearing mantras right now. Like just knowing that that you're gonna have to completely rely on spirit. And I feel like your human's like, we've done this before, and shit. Like there is a misjudgment before, where I'm going to wait and see, let spirit handle something for me. And really at that time, you probably should have been making some moves, doing some things like that. And you probably had opportunities and actions you could take, but you're like, no, I'm going to, spirit's got me kind of situation. And so you not taking action was like a shit show. Like when opportunities are presenting themselves to you, and you tell yourself, no, it's not that, because some spirit's going to bring it in, and it's like, well, spirit those were the opportunities. But in this situation, it feels like like the three cups are things that you have attempted to do that should have worked, or you thought would work, or were appropriate options, and blah 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 blah. So those three cups, yeah, you've already explored them. You know that it's not going, like, that's not the answer. And so that fourth cup is going to come in. Something about intuitively knowing when that cup comes in, like it's spiritually guided. We got the High Priestess and the Four of Cups. Again, that cup coming in from the sky. It's literally like, yeah, this is just, it's a knowing when it does finally come in. And it is a reliance on spirit, and just that things are going to work out. And amazingly, it does, because we have the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands is the card of waiting, right? Ace of Wands, I've got the desire, the passion, the motivation, the spark for something, the curiosity for something. Two of Wands is choosing the action that I make towards that. Three of Wands is waiting to see how that's reciprocated, what happens as a result. So there may be certain things that you have tried to take action on, and now you're just waiting. Like, that's why it's called the ship's coming in. You've got to wait to see how it's reciprocated. This is the story of like, I have a desire. I start a business. I put it out there. And now I'm waiting to see how well it's received. I'm waiting to get the feedback from the universe. If the action that I took is appropriate, I'm waiting for that reciprocity to come back to me. From there, I'll know how to maneuver. From that point, when my ships come in, I can build a solid foundation. So this is that sense of, you're like, it's coming. You have no option now but to wait for it to come in. And you just know that it'll be ushered in. You know that it's going to be spirit led. And you know that you're going to have to rely on your intuition when this shows up. Because the options that are before you right now, Yeah. Wheel of Fortune. Shit is going to change. I'm a dime, I heard. And that's irritating. Oh my God, the weight. Like, it's chaotic. This is so damn chaotic. Your human is like, what in the actual fuck with this situation? There's torment in this weight. So on this is the Six of Cups. It's the happiness card. It wanted to land like this. I couldn't but notice it. And I'm going, and I feel like there's a situation where it's like, try to enjoy yourself during this time frame, but you have no real way to enjoy yourself. When your root chakra, your sense of security in is up in the air and it's being tossed around, like, you feel like it's so difficult to actually just try and enjoy the present moment when everything seems so, just up in the air. Like, this waiting, because you've tried certain things, and the old ways of doing something doesn't work anymore. This could be even trying to find a job. Like, all the fucking old avenues of trying to find a job just don't seem to work anymore. All the things that you tried to attempt don't seem to work anymore. Maybe this is trying to find a good connection, and like the places you've gone before, and like all the regular ways of trying to find a person or connect with people and things like that. Like, it's like, okay, something about this is like, and so you have to just wait, and it's fucking tormenting you, and it's making it so difficult to really enjoy anything. So again, with the Three of Wands, right? Three of Wands, your shifts want to come in, and it allows you to create a foundation, a sturdy, stable foundation for you, which is the Four of Wands. So right now, that tells me that you're not in you don't have a foundation built just yet. Like, this is probably post tower, and the sense of waiting makes you feel like another tower is just going to come, because you can't seem to make progress on creating a sense of stability in your life or in this particular situation. Everything's still feeling very up in the air. So it's like, I know I should be trying to be, hey girl, I know that I should be trying to have some semblance of fun or enjoy the moment, or at least release myself from this torment, but it's way too fucking difficult. I can't seem to do it. But on this, like, obviously these two are interacting with one another, that sense of torment and trying to be happy, but you can't find the playfulness or the joy in some of the simple things. While you wait for this, it's so difficult. And they want you to know on each side of that, they're talking like, this is going to change. Things will get better. You will have a victory. We got the Wheel of Fortune and the Sun card. Like this is going to change. This sense of feeling so unstable, Shauna, unstable. That so unstable that like there. Okay, it's like Maslow's hierarchy of need, right? And Maslow was not the only one. He got that from indigenous Americans. But it's literally like, and if you think about it with any, like, even like when we talk about the chakra systems, like if your root chakra is not firmly rooted, then it kind of sends the rest of it out of whack. Like all the others are impacted because of that. There needs to be a sense of groundedness and rootedness in something, but everything feels so I heard unfamiliar. So this is probably a situation you're not used to. And I guess because since you've tried all the normal traditional ways of like all your efforts have felt like failures is what I heard. It feels like like nothing you do at this point and nothing that's in your present environment gives you indication that there's a resolution to this. Like you can't figure out the resolution to this. But again, there's a reiteration that there will be a peaceful resolution. And I think your human is so concerned and with trying to resolve this. And when you have no other option but to wait for either inspired action, spiritual guidance, for like the proverbial door to open, your human is dramatizing things, rightfully so. If you've experienced multiple tower moments, and if your only frame of reference when something like this occurs, that generally speaking, resolution to something has always felt like a tower moment, right? But in this particular situation, I want to say it feels like the energies at play are actually stopping you. Like maybe all the avenues that you've attempted were blocked for a reason. Whereas opposed before, you just felt like, oh, Spirit's going to do this. And like all the opportunities and options you had in front of you, you took no action towards, no real action towards. And so that led to a tower moment. And so right now you feel like I need to be taking action because every time I didn't before and didn't take charge, shit happened and it blew up. And so that's why it's unfamiliar. Because in this situation, it's different than others where you've literally been blocked. Before you'd be like, oh, what is Spirit going to bring? Da, 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 da. And I was like, nothing was blocked for you. What the fuck are you doing? Why are you sitting why are you sitting there? Right? That's when Spirit was trying to really, your higher self wanted you to learn to take charge in your life. This time, you're having to really rely on the illogical, the spiritual. And you're like, every time I tried to do that before, it did not work out. At least that's what your human's saying. So again, that's the torment. And I think that there's some very physical aspects to this in your world, like very physical manifestations of this, like when you can't get a job and you're trying to find something that works, you got no money, right? There's something in your world for your human to latch onto and go, So it feels very justified in being, and probably is to a certain degree. Remember, your ego is a human filter, and its only point of reference is from that which has already happened. So if it has a whole big slew of information saying when I don't take charge and don't do something and I just wait for something to come in, shit blows up in my fucking face. Or it puts me on delays, it puts me on detours, and so this feels unfamiliar, unsafe, But also, even your human can recognize, I got no other options right now. I'm good. How are you all doing? I'm coming on nice and early, guys. Nice and early. So we've got the King of Swords here. And I just keep getting the energy of making a decision, right? He makes the decision with all the information he has at hand, correct? Because you go from the Queen of Swords, which is the eagle eye view that sees the greater picture of the situation. And he is the one who makes the decision. Now, generally speaking, just like a decision is a verb. It's like it requires or impacts all actions thereafter, right? Either it requires an action or it impacts how you act from that point forward. And then I'm like, okay, but this feels a little like that definition is not finished. We got the Six of Swords, which is understanding, like there's a knowledge here that there's a transition, that the transition that's occurring. That is going to be exceptionally fulfilling. We've got the Ace of Cups. It's like knowing that whatever action has to, like, whatever decision will be made when you have all the information that comes in from the Three of Wands, those shifts that are coming in, the reciprocity, the feedback from the universe, the feedback from what you have done up to this point. When that information, when that reciprocity comes in, when those shifts come in, you're going to know that whatever decision you make has to be, your heart's got to be in it. Period, point blank. And if we're talking about like relationships, it's I can't make decisions with my mind anymore. Oh, well, there's this, and this, and maybe I should. If it's a job, I can't just make a decision based upon, oh, well, it sounds really great because that's that much money. And I can do this if I do this. It's going to blow up in your face, it feels like. It's not going to be the right decision if your heart's not in it. And I almost feel like that is stopping you. That's why you're looking at the 3 existing cups as well. Like Spirit's not going to let you make a decision. That's what it is. That doesn't speak to your heart, that doesn't align with you, that your heart's not in it. And somehow there's going to be victory with that. There's this energy is slightly weird. Well, I get it. It reminded me of the title, Peaceful Resolution. You're not used to that. That's why this energy feels weird. As if there's not going to be some kind of dramatic something to occur that has to spawn you on. You're going to see the way to transition, and you're going to feel good about it. Like the whole experience, this transformation, this forward movement this decisiveness, this decision that you make is going to feel good. The decision you make to move forward is going to feel good. It's almost as if you expect that whatever you're gonna have to end up doing is gonna you're gonna feel resistance to it. That you're gonna feel not like like you have to do it. You just gotta do something, and they're like, no. There's gonna be massive victory with this 6 of Wands. Okay, I want a different. Like this is so. It's like when you sit at, okay, I don't know if some of y'all do this. It's like when you sit at a creek, and in certain areas, the creek itself or the brook, whatever you want to call it, the water is moving a little more rapid because of the rocks and things like that, or because it's at a slight incline. You hear more noise, white noise, things like that. But if you're sitting in an area of the creek where it kind of like settles down a little bit, it's so quiet right there. Your senses, your other senses become more heightened because you become more aware of everything that's going on around you. That's what this energy feels like. Let's figure this one out. So let's talk about the fact that we're in this waiting period. Like, what the fuck? Like this limbo, and your human is like not liking it. And the feeling is there's a peaceful resolution, which means if there's not a tower moment, then whatever you're fearing will happen, like the negative repercussion isn't going to happen. Okay, what is this? Oh, hey guys. This it's a general reading. Sorry. Remember when I said that you're feeling too tormented about this situation to have any kind of fun? Or even just to enjoy the moment, to really allow yourself to enjoy the present moment? Is so up in the air that it's like I can't, because I don't feel settled in. I'm not grounded in my root chakra. And I don't care what people say. Sometimes there's no amount of fucking meditation for you and your human to feel okay. Your human's job is to protect you. And if you see something that could be potentially dangerous to you, or feel like it could be dangerous to you based upon past experiences, like me not doing something about this right here and right now, the way that I've done it before, like all the tried and true methods of like if you're needing a job, and so any other time it's like I need to go out and network, I need to go out and meet people, I need to be online submitting my 100 applications a day, I need to be talking to my friends about visit, and it's like all the things that you would think. I need to learn a new skill set. I need to, like all these things that would have always been tried and true, supposedly, in society, of that's the way you find a job. This notion of I'm not going to put that massive of an effort into it. I'm not going to apply 100 times. I'm only going to apply to the things that really speak to me. I'm not going to do this, that, and the other. And I'm not going to be so worried about. I'm not going to spend my time worrying about that and mulling over it. I'm going to go and enjoy myself today. And it's like, how are you supposed to, like, so all the tried and true things that you've always tried, none of them are working. Spirit's blocking it, or so it feels. And you're like, okay, like, of course your human is going to be worried. Of course. And I feel like saying it's very valid. So that's why that, the 6 of Cups came out sideways. It's like, sure, something is supposed to come along to help me out, but like in the interim, It's not okay. I don't feel like it's okay to tell my human aspect to shut up. That it's not, you know what I mean? It's a very valid feeling and emotion right now. I've had a million lessons of where, oh, it's gonna come to me, or oh, I know something's gonna change. I know spirit's gonna bring, and I dismiss all the options. I don't take action towards things. I don't take charge, and shit blows up in my face, and I'm shocked afterwards. And now this is the one time where it's like, but see, spirit wasn't blocking you then. You blocked yourself. You just chose not to take certain avenues because no, it's gonna come like to me and everything else like that. And it's like this one time you're like, I'm trying, like, what the fuck, really trying, taking actions, going after things, and this shit is what the holy shit. LP motherfucker, how are you? What? We can't ask where you been? What time zone are you? Where you at, LP? Where you at? Where you at? You can't be in your normal haunts because that shit's like, God, isn't it like really late? What time is it? I know. Okay. So I understand. This idea and notion to having a peaceful fucking resolution to a situation or a circumstance or a problem seems so fucking foreign and unfamiliar to you. It is very difficult to settle in. And so the idea and notion that shit's just gonna change and work out, you know what I'm saying? Like we got the Wheel of Fortune of the Sun card, is like, okay. But you're in a position where you have no choice but to wait and see how this pans out because seemingly every option is being blocked. The only thing you can do and have been doing hasn't been producing anything, and you're just waiting for some kind of shit to come in, right? Like, I don't know how to take any further action or to create a foundation. You just have to really settle in with yourself that despite like the 4 of Cups, the 3 cups that are in front of you, they ain't working out. Something's going to come in from spirit. You really have to rely on your intuition. You really have to rely on that just spiritual knowing, that faith, right? Okay. And that whatever comes through, you'll be able to see it. You'll be able to discern it. And the decision you're going to be making, and it's like a prediction, the thing that is going to come in that's going to bridge you, right? The 6 of Swords is going to be, it's going to feel good and it's going to be victorious. You got the Ace of Cups and the 6 of Wands, victory card, success. It's going to feel good and it's going to bring you the balance that you need, that foundation, and a reason to celebrate. 3 of Cups. Okay. I know a shit ton of you are like, when? 9 of Water, exactly what you're hoping will happen. Because you probably are like, okay, well, whatever. I need this, and this resolved, and this, and this in order to be able to feel settled. And like you've spent enough time in this lack of safety, trying your damnedest to have faith, which has now feels like a burden. Because having to hold faith for too long can become a burden in and of itself. It is a heavy weight. So you have really figured out, like, okay, in order to really get a good, it has to work around. I'm going to use myself an example, right? Like I have certain time frames where I have to go get my kids. I have this, that, and the other. So like it has to work around that, right? I would need, like you have thought of all the different ways and you're like, okay, like this is how it's going to have to go. Like you have a really good picture. Even if you don't know the exact thing, you've got some requirements in order for you to feel safe and secure and stable and have the ability to celebrate and feel victorious. and to enjoy the moment again. Like, there's like, okay, well, all of this, this, and this, and this needs to be taken care of. This and this and this needs to be addressed. I need to be able to maneuver like this, also for it to feel good. Like, whatever this resolution, to feel good. You also know like some details about, in order for this to be a smooth or a peaceful resolution, like this and this can't happen. And like, you kind of have had all that time. Your human has had the fucking opportunity, okay, to really delve into that shit. So when they say, don't worry, you'll be exceptionally happy, because all that criteria, so that you feel settled in your root chakra again, and it brings you peace, because that's why it's a peaceful resolution, will happen. Like, we got this. And I know your human's like, bitch, no, you don't. No, you don't. And the thing is, like, if it's a peaceful resolution, it's coming in before shit hits the fan. It's coming in. It's a new beginning in your material world, in your physical world. Yeah, the inflow of abundance. That's that new start. This is the proverbial cup that's going to come in, only it's a pentacle. Like, we know the reason you don't feel settled in your root chakra is because there's some shit going on in your everyday real life, right? And you're like, I need that new start. I need that new path. Let's talk about that. They're reiterating some shit here, guys. Ten of air. I don't think you could get any more fucking stressed. This is the kind of stressed, like in the Three of Cups, I'm like, they're not fighting. There's mental torment, which we got over here. Five of Swords, mental torment. But you are probably at the point where it's literally like it's like the point beyond return. That pressure cooker scenario I always talk about. Until you just surrender, right? But only in this situation, it's your human having to surrender. It's your ego. Like, you are like, this is exploring and expending all options. This is beyond being worried and afraid. It is, I got nothing left in me. The Ten of Swords is, that shit's going to change. Maybe anything that could have gone wrong went wrong. Maybe worst case scenarios have happened. Maybe you've existed in this shitty situation for so fucking long that there's no other way but up. But in the interim, this is how it fucking feels, waiting for the Three of Wands to come in. Waiting for those shifts to come in. Waiting for that reciprocity, the feedback from the universe, the whatever it is, whatever actions you've attempted previously. You're like, I'm fucking waiting. And it feels like that. Waiting for this to fucking come in. And it's so fucking funny. Jeez, good God. Literally at the bottom of this card, the words say, have patience at this time. If this isn't fucking patience, Spirit, I don't know what the fuck is. Because that's crossing into damn well stupidity at this point. But this card does say it is going to be the end of a difficult situation. Expect things to get better now. Embrace the change. Well, this motherfucker came out again. King of Air, which is the King of Swords. Okay, here's what it is. They want you to consider things carefully. Obviously, the King of Swords is about thinking something through thoroughly. He gets to his decision because he's done that, right? Because he has all the facts now. So something tells me that whatever the ships are coming in, the reciprocity, the information, everything, it gives you a piece to the puzzle that you didn't maybe have before, and it allows you to see the full picture now. And so you get to the King of Swords because you were the Queen of Swords, that eagle eye view. All the information has come in. So now it's time to review that information and make decisions accordingly, right? This literally says, so that's what the King of Air right here is, or the King of Swords. Then we have the Knight of Wands, which is things when this comes in, because I feel like your environment is like this something needed to happen yesterday, like a resolution was needed before this. So when this opportunity for a peaceful resolution comes in, there is a decisive energy of taking action, of a decisive decision that has to be made, like a very decisive. Like we always say, we make decisions, and there's a lot of times we waffle on that shit. No, this is and follow through, right? Remember I said with this particular night that, or not night, shit, fire type of matches. And this King of Swords here, like it's really a verb. A decision is a verb because a decision is an action that you take, or the decision impacts all actions you make and take thereafter. A decision is not strictly mental. Because it does say sudden events that need your attention. And it also says on here, think things through carefully. So when this happens, it's like, think things through carefully. Events are going to be happening at a fast pace, only because I feel like your environment requires it of you. So because you've been sitting and waiting and you haven't, every avenue has been locked off, it's like time is of the essence now, because that's why your human is panicking and thinking a tower moment's going to happen, because there are things evidential outside of you in your physical world where you're like, this shit's going to be impacted. And so it's like, I feel like it's being pushed to the wire here. Like whatever comes in, like you don't have time to waffle about it. But here's the thing. And I think that's the reason why they want you to balance a little bit your emotions and your mental realm, because remember, your human is trying to dramatize shit, right? Because it's freaking the fuck out, rightfully so. But sometimes that can get us in a space of not being the King of Swords, not making a decisive decision. They want you to be in the King of Swords energy. Balance that shit out. Do whatever you can to bring some sense of peace so that when it comes in, you don't sit there and feel like, because when you're in panic and chaos mentally, it can be difficult to hear your intuition, your guidance. So basically they're saying, make a decision swiftly and take action. Emperor. Yeah, leadership, take the lead. So what is this? I want to know about the Three of Wands that's coming in. I want to know about this, when it is going to show up, and it's going to feel like it's down to the wire. You're going to have to really just dig in deep so that you're not in utter mental chaos. You're going to have to make your decision, move with the events because they're going to be at a fast pace, take the lead in this situation and do something about it. It will be a peaceful resolution. Your heart will feel satisfied with this. It's going to meet all of the requirements in order for you to feel settled in your root chakra. And it is going to bring that change of trajectory that you're wanting. It is going to bring the victory. Okay? And there is a brand new start in your physical world. Hence why it's going to require action. Oh, shit. Whatever challenges you may be facing right now that is getting your human really excited, they're asking, you've got the Queen of Pentacles. They're asking you to take a sensible approach to those types of challenges, right? Um, and understand that there's more going on than meets the eye, and be willing to make changes to your plan, which I think at this point, you've thrown your fucking plan out the window. You're like, okay. Be open to those changes, right? Whatever way that creek flows, go with it. They're just saying be sensible during this. Don't allow yourself to get overly excited. Not excited. You can be excited, like overly dramatic. We're just gonna say dramatic with shit. Like don't blow things up. Be sensible about it when it's time to do this. Okay, because if things are you're gonna have to take action on something very fast. Sometimes we can feel unsettled, and I think that's what the Queen of Pentacles is. It's allowing yourself to really use all your faculties. Okay, it's bringing that balance back in internally so that you can act swiftly when is necessary. And just again recognize that there's more going on than meets the eye, which is probably the reason why this last little bit of information, the Three of Wands, I asked what the Three of Wands was, and it's like it's the information that you need to be able to be able to take practical steps towards, right, to take the action and things like that. And so the Three of Wands is waiting for that reciprocity, waiting for the information. I've taken action. I've done certain things. I'm waiting for what it is that I need to move forward to create that foundation. Okay. Three of Wands to Four of Wands. And in that, obviously your plans have been revised to a certain degree, but do know and do see when that comes in, because the Three of Wands feels like it is the Six of Wands. We've got two Three of Wands and two Six of Wands here. Victory. We also have the Sun card. That's a victory card as well. But the Six of Wands is victory, good news, public recognition, or awards, right? You're after this, what felt very rocky, you're riding in on that horse. You might be battle worn, but you're riding in on that horse, victorious of this. And people are going to be able to see it, right? It's something physical in your world. Like you're going to be very... And this Three of Wands may be that recognition. Like usually would put in 100 applications a day, or I'm exaggerating, obviously. And I would do it, but I'm only applying to things that I know that are going to be in alignment, that meet all the requirements that I need. And you think your human's like, that's not going to get you what you need. Like you need to just apply to anything, bitch. Take whatever you fucking can get. And you're like, no, I know that I can't. There's certain things I can't do, because if I go these routes, if I do that and just apply to anything and they don't meet my requirements of feeling good and settled in, then just a new chaotic situation will be created. So it has to have all the little details, right? It needs to have all the things that I need, okay, in order to feel settled in. Like I think there's a real desire, both on your part and Spirit's part, to get you really settled in your root chakra, because from there a lot of shit can happen. That's like numero uno priority is what I'm hearing, right? And so it's literally like whatever the Three of Wands, it's either someone seeing your worth despite you not, you're just waiting for something to show up. Like you're kind of like, I'm not taking as much action as I usually do because all of that has been futile. I've literally put in 1,000 applications of resumes over the last 6 months and not shit. You know what I mean? So obviously those don't work. That's the three of cups energy, waiting for that fourth cup to come in. And it's literally like something's just gonna pop up. Maybe something pops up in your search, and you're like, that job has it all. And so then you apply for it, and lo and behold, bitch, they contact you and they want you, and you're like, what the fuck? 6 months of 1,000 applications, and here I sit going, and I give up on trying to apply and do all the other tactics that would normally get me a job, and I just see this one, I go, meh, and I apply, and that shit comes back, and I get it, and it meets all my motherfucking demands. Are you shitting me? Someone recognizes you. You have success. You've done what you can. You've put the feelers out there. This is just an example, right? I'm not saying this is how it fits, but whatever it is that you're waiting for it to come back, that is like that reciprocity, that feedback. Like, shit, is something gonna happen? Like, if you've tried to start a business and it's like been really rocky and it's not taking off, and like you just keep taking actions and you're like, I've done everything I can, and at this point I am just coasting, and then suddenly something comes back in. That would be recognition, right? It suddenly takes off. Your ships come in. That's the recognition. And yes, you've despite wanting to panic, you've had to take a very reasonable, sensible approach to shit. And when it finally does come in, when that Three of Wands comes in, you've had enough time to think about the various avenues of what you're going to do. So you're kind of like, okay, here's the feedback. I'm going to pick up where I left off. Like it's fast paced. When this Three of Wands comes in, it's going to come in fast. And you're like, shit. Okay. And like I said, you have been in a place where it's like things are hanging in the wire. So time's of the essence. When this information or this opportunity or whatever it is comes in, you don't need to be delaying. You need to take action, decisive action towards it. Okay. Because what is going on in your environment will be impacted on the speed and decisiveness at which you go after this. Got no time for waffling, right? And yes, there was like, this is like, it's going to be nice to have this information come in. Okay. It's going to feel, and I think this piece, when it happens, you're like, oh, thank God. That's what gives you this peaceful resolution energy here. Okay. We'll go with the Kipper just to see if there's anything else, and then we'll wrap it up. You just really have to be ready to act. Don't get chaotic. So we have concern card. Your human's still concerned. Like, I hear you, spirit, but, and they're like, but official person. Here's the beautiful thing about Kipper. I love all their definitions. And I don't feel like enough readers understand these cards. And so they don't really get all the information that Spirit's trying to tell them, right? So the official person card is one of those things where it's a situation. I shit you fucking not, bitch. I'm about to read this to you. It's everything I've already said. It is a situation that you lack control in. Somebody else holds the power or authority in this situation. Like, I don't know, the motherfuckers that you've put the applications into and you've been waiting to hear from. Right? Right. Okay. All right. So the official person is also a circumstance situation that you have no control over and you have to just reside to. But also, it also means it is so. Let me read to you the definition really quick because I want you to feel confident in what I've been telling you. And this to me is just confirmation what Spirit's saying. All right. Official person, literally any person in a uniform, such as a military man, police officer, or fireman. The official person loves hierarchy, order, ceremony. Give a task to the official person and he will make it so. Like, it is so, right? Thus, next to a person card, it can also mean it's happening whether you like it or not. You may be in a situation where you're not in control. Someone else is giving the orders. He can be an official, such as a policeman or a judge. He might be unapproachable. But the card also sometimes acts as an exclamation point, describing a neighboring card such as official. Maybe you'll experience situations where power and authority are required or where you lack the power and authority in it. So there you go. It is so. My phone's ringing. It's buzzing. I don't know who it is. Oh, it's my friend. Okay. I always have to check because, like, school sometimes. So they're like, you're very worried, but you don't have the control. This is one time where you feel like, okay, I didn't take action those other times. I'm fucking doing something about this time. And for once, bitch, if spirit in the world just isn't cutting every avenue off, you're like, what in the actual fuck? So your human is like, I can't win. I don't take action. Shit blows up. I try to take action. Bitch, no, you can't. Like, what the fuck? Like, it just, your human is very concerned, and rightfully so, and we get it. You're afraid. You're afraid. That's what the concern card means. But they're saying, remember, you don't have control in the situation. You're afraid, but they're like, hey, it is so. Like, this is, to me, make it so, like no matter what, it happens. You give a task to the official person, that shit fucking happens. Right? It is so. It is in the works. It is so. This new beginning, it is so. It's already written. What did I say? They're confirming everything I've already read. There's not anything new coming out of this. We've got the despair card. Even in the background, it says not hiring. We have the thief card, like you feel like you're missing out. You're missing the opportunities. Like something is being taken from you. Something's being blocked. Like you've got no control in the situation. And it's all in regards to your stability. The house is all about your sense of foundation and stability. Your safety, your security. Get prepared. Get prepared. Get prepared. The thoughts card. This is organizing, getting shit together, getting ready. This is analyzing. This is thinking through something. Get prepared because your job situation is about to go through a change. So definitely, even though I gave examples of relationships, this definitely had an overtone of work, finances, your material world, your physical world. It's about to change. Your work situation, your financial situation is about to change. There will be success. Wheel of Fortune, things will take a 180. It will be a peaceful resolution. It isn't going to be a situation where you get put out on the streets and you have to scrounge for 6 months just to, like this is a situation where there will be a peaceful resolution. You will get exactly what it is you need and you will have every reason to fucking celebrate. It's going to be exactly what it is that you wanted. And it is a new beginning financially. Okay? Alrighty. Somebody need to hear that. Wait, what? Yes, victory at the end of the war. You won the battle. Yep. I hope that resonates for somebody. But that was just like, it was weird. I know people weren't on in the beginning because, sorry, I have to read and catch up because I don't pay attention to the chat when I'm channeling and going. I don't do a good job when I stop 20 million times. But I was I was getting everything ready, doing my little intentions and everything, getting my space ready, and all I could hear was peaceful resolution, like loud and fucking clear, like somebody came in the room and said it to me, and I was like, and I told people, or nobody was on at first. I was pulling out my paper, I was going to write it down because I thought there was like messages coming through, and I was going to write some things down, and they're like, title, put it as the title. I don't usually get titles ahead of time. Sometimes, very rarely though. And it's just the way that I operate. I usually do the title afterwards. And so I was like, okay. And that was it. There was all that came through, nothing else. And I was like, all right, then. So anywho, there's going to be a peaceful resolution for whoever needed to hear that. And I know that your environment's telling you something different, or something feels very, and your efforts feel thwarted, and like you can tell, you may feel like there, and it may be true, you may feel like there have been energies attacking you, and that there may be other people and energies that are contributing to your lack of movement forward, and that may be a part of it. But I also feel like, you get to a point and you're like, okay, something somewhere should have fucking worked. Something somewhere should have worked. That's when that's also spirit involved, motherfuckers. Y'all have been cutting off access to certain paths. And nothing that would normally work has worked. Because if you put in 500 applications over 6 months, somebody should have gotten back with you. Right? And the only ones that do feel very scammy. Like, this isn't normal, spirit. What is going on? Holy shit. Ooh. No, first and foremost, we share here, right? And the was actually for the good thing where you bought a place. I'm like, get it, motherfucker. Amidst all that shit. Yes. Yes. Wow. And I can understand why I haven't seen you for a while then, because obviously life was happening. First and foremost, I'm exceptionally happy that you addressed trauma and really began learning, because I think that it's a process, the emotional regulation piece, right? That's a lot. And I'd like to say that I'm not the same, where some of my tower moments haven't been by my own hand. And spirit be like, bitch, what are you doing? What in the fuck are you doing? Right? Completely, abso-fucking-lutely. And then, the trying to take so many actions and make shit happen. Done that before too. The overworking, tunnel vision. Yeah. That's also the application piece. I'm just going to say, this is for everybody. I want y'all to remember that once we learn and heal through things, life will continue to happen, right? And we're supposed to, that's the application of what we've learned. Because it's one thing to know something, it's another to walk the talk, right? That's the embodiment process. And so that's the reason why, and even that in and of itself, we can re-traumatize ourselves through that process because of our choices or lack thereof. But when we have gotten to a place where we like, I understand all of this, and I began learning it and unpacking it and allowing myself to experience it. Well, now I walk out into life and I've got to use that. And I've done that myself where I went through all that, started going through the path, and then shit happened because instead of making decisions and walking the path that I said I was going to walk and owning my boundaries and my self-respect and my love and for myself and everything else like that, I reverted back to some old patterns because it's muscle memory, right? And then I put myself in a situation that re-traumatized myself. And I told you all this story where like I was healing and then I was like on this path and then like, we talk about people who get there and they backslide. This is my terminology, okay? This is what I call it. It's almost like getting up that hill and they hit that certain point and they backslide because you get to the place where you have to start making decisions and actions and make movements according to what you now know. And sometimes you make decisions and you go that path and you do not honor what you have learned. And so, it's like the embodiment process is hard. Some people can get through the healing, right? But they get to the walking the talk piece, and that shit feels scary as fuck. And chaotic, and it's unfamiliar, and it's just, our human will panic like a motherfucker. And so when people get triggered, they think, oh, I haven't healed all the way. No, you just got to walk the talk. You can get triggered even when you're healed. Because you haven't built the new neural pathways. You haven't myelinated those new understandings. You haven't integrated it just yet. You purged, you got rid of the old shit, but now you got to integrate the new shit into your DNA at a cellular level, right? And that shit's fucking hard. And forgiving myself for the backslide, fuck me. That's when I went through what I call my soul death. And people love to be like, you shouldn't say stuff like that. You're scaring people. No, the fuck I'm not. I'm telling my goddamn truth. You can shut the fuck up. I know what I experienced, and I know for a fact that my soul and my human and my soul left. My soul left. Any relation with my higher self or anything like that, completely gone. I was literally a waffling, walking shell here on earth. Vacant for any other spirit to try and come in and attach itself. Just, to me, that's a soul death. My soul left in a completely different capacity. And so it's one of those things where it's like, that was so hard. Because I also recognized in that moment the role I played. It's that whole adage of fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Because I finally had the fucking awareness and I still went down that path. Because those old patterns were hard to break. And the new ones felt so uncomfortable. I needed to take actions based on what I knew my worth was. When I said I was no longer available to be anybody's learning curve, I needed to act accordingly, make my decisions, walk like it, be willing to cut people off. And it happens. It fucking happens where we feel like that's why that Ten of Swords in this deck, guys, I think it's this one. Hold on. I'm going to show it to you. That's the reason why I like this particular one. There's another one. There's a couple other decks that are like it. But I want to show it to you. I want to remind you. And anybody can go through this. There's no shame in it. But it can be hard to admit to ourselves, to come to that. No, it's not this one. Where is it at? Which one is it in? Which one? Where's it at? So, anyways, there's the Ten of Swords where usually it's like all the swords are in the back, of the person. But in some decks, the Ten of Swords is in the front. They're laying on their back, and it's like you walked right the fuck into that shit. You either took the initiative to end it and push yourself over the edge, or you walked straight into the shit show. And in a situation like that, you have no choice but to accept the responsibility. Where are you at? Are you going to be at the end of the fucking deck? Like, of course. Watch this one not be it either. Anyways, so it's going to be at the end of the deck. Nope. This one. That's those moments. You know? And we've all been on the loop. This is like going beyond, in my opinion, like, oh, I've been cheated on several times by somebody when they're like this, and that should be a red flag. It's beyond. I'm not talking about just recognizing red flags. I'm talking about somebody who is taking the initiative to really heal, really purge, really uncover the truth of situations, and still walk into certain circumstances and somehow revert back to old patterns, even though you met yourself very deeply on a subject or a particular matter. Like, and it can be so infuriating. And it's one thing, like, that's where I learned it's easy to forgive somebody else. It is hard to forgive myself when I've, you know what I mean? Trauma is familiarity, especially when it's parental, when you were conditioned for so fucking long. So long. That was your understanding of love, of safety. Ah, that is a thing as well. Yes, toxic empathy. I'm reading what LP has written because obviously I was on a rant. That can happen too. Like sometimes when you heal, you see people differently, right? Which is important also. It's also fucking important. Like especially with parents, you know, we can see why they are the way that they are, why they're so toxic, and you can empathize with them. But we shouldn't confuse empathy and understanding with boundaries, right? Like in recognizing what someone's going through and what they've been through and why they are the way that they are, and almost seeing yourself in them, because you can then parallel it to the things you've gone through, even if it's not similar. Like that can be really difficult. But it's also like that is a lesson in discernment, right? Because now you're not reactive and judgmental to them, because you're no longer judgmental to yourself, but also your love for them should never overshadow or be greater than the love you have for yourself. That is a fucking learning lesson. That is a learning lesson. Been there, done that myself too. Yes. That's a good, I like your friend. Here's the other thing. Sometimes we take a path that sometimes the shortcut is not a shortcut. And this is in reference to people seeing, like, if you had told them what was going on, it being like they would view you as having a setback. Um, the integration, like I can guarantee you, you've integrated this lesson very deeply now. Like almost at a body cellular level, you will recognize this when it represents itself, because it will at some point in your life. And so your how you handle that will be more innate for you, like beyond just knowing I should do this. It is a bodily reaction of like feeling repelled or feeling compelled to act or behave a certain way or do a certain thing, or to enforce that boundary, right? um but maybe in this situation, if you had acted the same way you had done before, where like, fuck you, get away from me, you'd had probably 10 more of those motherfuckers show up. You'd have repeated that loop. That seemed like it would have been the shortcut, right? Just to always automatically. But that gets us into a place where we then associate actions with the intentions. Like if I just do this, which was yesterday's reading, if I just do this, I used to do like this, so now I have to do like this, right? And we associate actions with our intentions. Just stick with me on this one, okay? Let's ride this one out just a little bit. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, in this situation, it wouldn't have sunken in the way that it did. It wouldn't have been integrated into your being. It wouldn't have been embodied, okay? So you may have had to repeat that action multitudes of times before it finally integrated. But this one, seems like a shortcut, right? It seems like a shortcut. Just cut them out from the get-go. The problem is when you do that, sure, you can integrate into you that pattern of always putting down a boundary, but sometimes we assume that the action is paramount when it's really the intention. Because at some point, it will be just as necessary to not cut a person out. And if you get in the habit of constantly cutting a person out, instead of going within and understanding and feeling, how does this feel? Does it feel safe? Like listening to your inner compass. If you rely on just the action alone, you're going to create a whole other issue for yourself. So is that really the shortcut? Is it? So many times we think we want to take the shortcut, but the shortcut leads us on this big fucking roundabout just to get back where we were. Whereas what seemed like the long way, the hard way, is actually the quicker route. That's what I'm saying. So I'm using your situation, LP, as an example of maybe that is what you needed at that time. As hard as it was to really like integrate it in. You want to operate from a place where you feel it from a deep level on how to maneuver, right? Rather than just relying on, if I do this, it means this. And if a person does this, I always do this. And if they do that, like that is relying on anything external to us. And that's really just a part of the matrix. That's the programming we're trying to get away from. That if I do this, this, and this, it means this. No, the fuck it don't. No, the fuck it don't. You need to know, because your body's also going to tell you in those moments when you should not just cut a person off that quickly. When you should maybe wait and feel through this and listen, and you know what I'm saying? Like it's not that relying on that as your method of embodying actions versus the feelings and the knowings and the discernment. That's not what you want to do. Okay? Because to me, while how you behave, how you maneuver, your behavior, your patterns, your actions do matter, it's a as within, so without type of situation. You need to integrate and address the deeper levels first. And naturally, over time, those actions will come. The actions themselves can feel uncomfortable. not talking to a person when you've set a boundary saying, I don't want you in my life anymore, even if it's family, that can feel uncomfortable. But it becomes a hell of a lot more comfortable and easy to do that when this shit feels right inside, when I feel really rooted and grounded in my power and my motherfucking knowing. So that's why I say getting to the deeper level and embodying it at a deeper level and allowing your body and allowing your intuition, your gut to help you sense through things and paying attention to the intentions and the energies more than the actions. The other shit will slide in. It's going to be so much fucking easier. So maybe that was the faster route, as difficult as it was. But it still can be hard when you come to a realization, right? Especially if victimhood has been a pattern for you in your life because you were taught it. You were taught to feel powerless, which a lot of feminine energies were. Breaking that cycle and realizing, bitch, you at the heart of this shit. And then having to realize that you don't get to blame spirit. You don't get to blame anybody else. That you walked right the fuck into this shit. Because you didn't honor yourself. You didn't have enough self-respect. You didn't keep your word to yourself. Like, that shit's hard. That was my lesson. That was my fucking lesson. That shit's hard. They did the best they could with the tools they had. And I have different tools and privileges. That's what I came to as well, which is the reason why I could stick around and I could see my dad as a human being as he was going through his transitions and things like that. I didn't hold some of the stuff that happened against him. I did witness other people holding things against him. And it felt horrible. And I didn't understand how anybody could do that. But then again, yes, I can. Discernment's everything. Wisdom is applied knowledge, knowing when and where to apply it, and that in itself is discernment. Discernment is what allows you to know when and where to apply it, the bank of knowledge that you have gathered. And in taking actions accordingly, that's wisdom. So it is. It is. But also when we do that, we the whole empathy thing being a blessing and a curse, that's the difference. That's the piece where people are like, when they're empaths and not knowing how to, if you lack the mastery over your own energies, you'll lack the mastery over your perception and tapping into other energies, if that makes sense. And what is yours and what isn't. You got to really get into the nitty-gritty of knowing yourself and garner a mastery over your own energies before you're ever able to really shield yourself and maneuver in any environment where you feel and sense and understand other energies at play. Going within, as within, so without, as within, so without. We've said that a million times. So right. All right. It's good to see you. I hope I can see you again. I hope you show up again. I know it's really hard. I know the time difference is slightly jacked up and everything. Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. You sounded so good. I'm like super fucking proud of you. I love the understanding and the self-actualization and the embodiment that you're going through. I love that for you. I love that for you. So I think it's time that we I try. And that's the whole point of me being here, right? Remember, LP's been around for some time. He's been LP. I never did ask you. Do you have a preference for like pronouns and anything else like that? Like, I put that out there because I always just start talking, and I'm 40 something years old. It's been difficult for me to stop myself and ask questions. It felt that way, but I also wanted to make sure. I wanted to make sure that So LP has been MIA since I moved to my new place. He like popped in one time. He's been around for quite some time. And the whole point of me going through this is because it took me until my late 30s to really get a good grasp. When I did a backslide in my life, I did a fucking massive backslide, and I let some narcissistic, toxic bullshit into my life, and it threw me for a fucking loop. And that's when I went through my soul death, and that's when all that kind of shit happened, guys. Okay. And so, I didn't have the people before me that actually healed things. The people that came just before me were good at calling things out and pointing things out, but never doing anything about it. I didn't have any real examples around me of what a healed person looked like. And I want to remind everybody, healing is really just the process of learning how to live. It is doing what we should have been doing all along so things don't create open wounds and festering. Like, the process of healing is how you should have been dealing with things and operating in life in this existence to fucking begin with. Right? But when everybody is compartmentalized and shoved into these little boxes, and they were programmed and they had traumas, and it's like, I had no real example. So it took me longer, because as I was going through that whole like healing process, that backslide was massive for me. But it hit so fucking home to me that it is so deeply integrated. And the point of me coming on and doing the tarot readings, and I know I do them a little bit differently, is because I believe that we should be gearing things not towards, let me just tell you what's going to happen. You want to know why some people can predict to a T every little thing that you do? Because you're still operating as a part of the matrix. When these motherfuckers, they can predict everything that you're going to do because you repeated the same fucking loops that your mother and your father did, that the generations before you did. You operate exactly how you always have operated. Your version of healing has been ignoring and not dealing with, and you haven't really met yourself deeply. So fuck, Spirit knows exactly what you're going to do. There's not a lot of variations in your timelines. But I've made it a point to want to help people get back into co-creation instead of just having Spirit determine everything for you. That you take active participation in this life, because that's true experience. If you plan all shit before you come to this earth, how is that a fucking experience? You're not experiencing things in totality then. The point is that they're supposed to sit in the passenger seat. They've got the fucking map for you guys. They can't tell you what road to go down, because the road you're meant to go down is strictly only yours, and you are meant to create it. You are meant to be the driver in your own fucking car. You're meant to be the writer of your own fucking story, right? They can tell you when you're about to run into a fucking a cliff, or when you're about to go over a cliff, or there's an ocean coming up. I don't know if you can hold your breath that long. You know what I mean? Like, or there's that, like, you might want to change your mode of transportation. Like, they can tell you you're out in the fucking wilderness. There's no goddamn roads, people. You go this way, it's going to be a little more rocky. It's faster, but it's going to be rocky. Yeah. You better hold on. Buckle the fuck up. Yeah. They can do all that shit. That's what they're supposed to do. Not should I do this? Like, fuck, do you really want spirit wiping your ass for you for the rest of your fucking life? No. So when I do a reading, it's going to be different. We're going to get into, I know you all want every answer. How long is this going to be? How da. Well, let's have a conversation about the role that you play, what you can do. And I know sometimes y'all come back and it's like, but I thought this, and this was going to happen. Well, did you do X, Y, and Z? Did you address the things that they pointed out? Have you really embodied this, that, and the other? Did maybe you level up so much that they're like, well, shit, whatever that was is no longer in alignment for you. So, you know what I'm saying? There's certain things in life that you are so far in all your decisions, right? Like the fact that I've drank this much, I can guarantee you, right? I could read cards on this. I could guarantee you I will have to pee as soon as we are done. My bladder will be full. So when we are reading as tarot readers and we're asking spirit what's going to happen, I can give you absolute certainty on the things where so many decisions and actions have been made that nothing you can do can stop this thing from coming in. Like you're so far along on that path, this is the inevitable. It's going to happen. It's fated. That's what fate is, right? But there's some times that you come and ask a question and it's like, well, the paths are so open. There's multiple timelines. And depending on how you maneuver and act, this is what could happen. Right? And that should be the point at which we want to get when we're talking to spirit and we're going to someone that can give us this information. Give me the info and let me take the lead. Like, give me all the pieces of information and what the potentialities are, right? Because sometimes, and especially if there's another person that's a factor into that, well, that even leaves it more open to interpretation. So I'm going to tell you where they're at. I'm going to tell you where you're at. And I'm going to, when we go to spirit, instead of tell me what this is going to do and how this is going to happen and, how to behave and how to act, they're going to have a conversation with you. Let's sit down. Like girlfriends, let's have a conversation. Let's process this. Because this codependence that we have is what we're trying to get out of. This new age of Aquarius is breaking free from that matrix. The matrix is a complete system of codependence. That's what it is. So people want to put down certain psychics or tarot readers or whatever you want to fucking call whoever who has anything, because there's a shift going on spiritually, etherically, and that's meant to really happen here. Like, it is not, we are not meant to tell you everything. There are nuggets and things that will come in that are that's spirit led. And it is destined, but not every fucking thing in life, right? Like, what is destined is the experience, not the details of it necessarily. That's what we choose before coming here. I know I went on that tangent for a reason, but just as a reminder, guys, like, you shouldn't rely on spirit to tell you everything and answer everything for you. They should be able to give you good, solid information, and you make the decisions from there. Just like being in the passenger seat, telling you he's about to run into a fucking brick wall. They gave you the information. You run into that goddamn brick wall, bitch. That's you. The fuck you want? You want them to put the brake? You're in the driver's seat. You want them to pump the brakes on something? When they've given you the information, if you choose to ignore it, the fuck you want them to do about it? And don't get me wrong. There are times where they're like, okay, I'm going to help you this one last time. Right? I'm going to help you this one last time. I'm not going to remove the brick wall, but suddenly the engine's going to go out. We're going to slow down. We won't hit the brick wall, okay? And then we get pissed because I'm not making any moves. Well, bitch, I saved you from the brick wall because the last time I let you run into the brick wall, you got all pissed at me. So now life is stagnant. You're not running into the brick wall, and now suddenly I'm the bad guy again. Do we see the codependent behaviors here? And I get it. I've been in those positions where I'm like, I know you could have fucking done something. I know you could have. There's times where spirit intervenes and it's like, it's for your best date, but there were other options. There were other ways it could have happened. Right? Okay. But we don't get to wallow in that anymore. You don't get to sit there, stay stuck, and be mad and angry and stay there. You have to make a decision to move forward. You're still in the driver's seat. You're still in the driver's seat. Ultimately. And sometimes spirit's got nothing to do with what's going on. It isn't you. Yes, there are energies external to you, and you can be frustrated. There can be external energies impacting you, and spirit's like, Jesus Christ, like they want to help you, but it's like, the best they can do at that point, their energy is put towards keeping those energies away from you. And sometimes that's the best option. They understand when you get fucking frustrated. They get it. They get it. And rightfully so. Much like the reading today. You had every right to feel this way. Every right. They get it. They're frustrated too. Anywho. Alrighty, guys. I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Anybody who watches this later on. No, today was just a collective reading. I'm actually just now hopping off. You came in late, dude. Came in late. Yes. So when I talk about my spirit team LP, there's a multitude, right? As above, so below. Like we think somehow that they don't experience all the range of things like we do. And that is false, in my opinion. They have all of the range. Yes, we are in a denser energy here. But again, as above, so below. I always tell people there's nothing that we experience here that hasn't happened in the etheric. That's why we talk about duality and that is the integration of both, the existence of both, right? Love is not without pain and happiness. You can love something so much that it hurts. Like love is, to me, the crux. It's that is the harmony between the polarities. And so it's literally like to go too far to one direction is almost getting you closer to the other. It's like having that line where like, here's one polarity, here's another. But if we were to pull them around like this, that's why nothing is linear. Everything is circular. It's like you go too far to the light and you'll get dark because you'll delve too far into separation, right? Love is is the homeostasis, the balance between the two. So anyways, so I definitely believe that there's personality, that there is, I swear to God, I just saw an eagle. That white head was so prominent. But yeah, mine has, and here's the other thing. People always say, and so whatever you want to project onto it and whatever you have an expectation of, spirit meets you where you're at. So what you're willing to listen to, what you're not, like the ways I communicate, like other people will pick up on certain things because they see X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, that wouldn't even register with me. So if spirit tried to do that, I'm constantly expanding my way of connecting with spirit, but I work through energy most primarily. And some synchronicities and symbol, and so like my spirit team, when I say they're like, oh my fucking God, like that's exactly the energy that they're giving me. And yeah, I'm like, if I'm sorry, this, oh, everything's good. And we just love you. Get the fuck, don't touch me. If you can't handle me at all of my alls, then you probably shouldn't be on my spirit team. I have people that are like, you talk to you? I mean, fuck yes, I do. If I'm pissed, I'm going to honor how pissed I am. I'm going to be in the moment. I'm going to address it, and I am going to talk to them. If I am pissed at spirit, I'm pissed at spirit. And usually that would be my human aspect. My human aspect also gets shitty and pissed at my soul, my spiritual aspect. You know what I mean? If they can't handle that, then how are they going to help me evolve? And to think that somehow that they are beyond experiencing other things is just, if spirit is all of the alls, then why do we try to fucking put limitations on them just because we are limited? Like, we expect spirit to be all the things we can't be. And while they may be in a more expansive energy, a less dense energy, they don't have less capacity than us. And some people assume that more capacity means only love and light. If you got more capacity, that means you also have more capacity for dark, low vibrational, slow energy. Don't put shit past them. I just don't understand motherfuckers. Because, when they talk like that, I'm like, you sound very Christian. That sounds very matrixy. Just saying. Oh my God. Because you're up in your head. Only seeing synchronicity when things are on the right track. Because you're in alignment with yourself, you're not in chaos. If you're in mental or emotional chaos, it can create it's a competition then with your intuition. It makes it difficult to hear. Well, I would say, some people want to say that dark energy is slow, and really what they're saying is it's very thick and dense and heavy. I always say it's heavy energy, which makes it more difficult to get out of. And is it so much so that dark energy is fast, or do we just allow it to have an end? The more we are afraid of it, and the more that we try to separate ourselves from it, the more we make ourselves vulnerable to giving it a way in. But like I always tell people, there's a verse even in the Bible where it says, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, because bitch, I've been there before and I came out. When you experience the darkest of the dark, and rather than run from it, but sit with it, experience it, get to know it, integrate it, then the dark can no longer get you. It can no longer harm you the way that it did before, because you see it. And that's the thing. When, people use terms like demons, evil, blah, blah, blah. These are all just terms trying to explain or put a label on an energy so that we all understand. But the one way to not allow darkness to have control or to have influence, we'll say influence over you, is to be able to see it. It's always going to take the back door in, unsuspectingly. It's going to creep in. You get in is what it is. So that's why I say don't run from that shit. Because if you constantly got your back to it, your fear of it will give it an opportunity to come in. You face that fucking shit. You look it up and down and you sit with it. You don't run from it. But that's just, and then once it consumes you and it takes over, because then it's so heavy, it's like a weight, like an anvil, it can be difficult to lift yourself up out of. So just saying. It does. It gives it a way in. And I'm telling you, when you really go through the healing process and you get to a place of really knowing yourself and your internal energies, its last resort and its only way in after that is through the mind. Because the mind, the mental, is strictly a human aspect. And that's where it will plague you. That is going to be its last resort, and that's where it'll wait for the end. Just saying. How I put it. It's like quicksand. Because I was going to say, take a bath in it. Why are you so afraid of it? You know, with quicksand, when you get fearful and you start trying to take quick action and you do, instead of going with the flow and working with it, and understanding it, and you fight against it, when you try to fight against that shit and you try to run from it, bitch, you sinking fast. And it feels like even harder. And then the more you work against the current, the more you fight it, the more exhausted you become. Whereas had you not done that to begin with, there's certain things that you can do. It's like, don't be afraid of it. You can get out of that. And in fear of the darkness is how we find ourselves in these little boxes, how we find ourselves closed in. Because now, once we've encountered it, I got so exhausted in that. I lost myself for some time. I couldn't get out because I was purely exhausted. And somehow that, when you stop fighting it, is when you get the fuck out, and is when you find your way out. Just saying, just like with quicksand. I got so exhausted in that. Now I'm so afraid to go back because the number it did on me. Well, now you're afraid. And now it has even more power over you. Because I don't got to get in because you're afraid. All I got to do is stand in your path. All I got to do is remind you. You just got to remind you. And the ego's good at that. The ego can be the devil's playground, right? I wonder what life would be like if people actually walked with it. Just food for thought. Yep. So, all right, I'm gonna hop off. I hope everybody enjoyed that tangent, because half of that was a tangent. So, alrighty. I hope I will be able to come on again tomorrow. Yes. Yeah, doing your shadow work is not to get rid of your shadow aspect. Your shadow aspect is a massive part of your intuition. Those beautiful little triggers and those things that come up all tell you something. I'm telling you right now, my shadow aspect has a seat at the fucking table. I listen to that bitch. That's also why you'll hear people say I'm in my dark I'm in my dark queen energy or my dark empress energy. Because whether something is dark or evil or lacking is all perspective, right? Because what one sees as evil, another will not. It's all perspective. It's all based on the lens at which you look things through. So sometimes we create a greater evil by labeling it as such. So, all right. Have a fantastic night. Get some sleep, motherfucker, because I know you need it. I know you need it. Everybody have a fantastic, wonderful day. Thank you for joining. And I hopefully will be back on tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, right? Probably. Yeah. Thank you. Good to see you. Don't be a stranger anymore.